Hi there, name's Nico, and today I'm going to show you how to play Katja. And what I'm going to be doing is going over a high elo player who mains Katja. When I mean like mains Katja, I mean at least a 50% pick rate or higher. And I found a particular game I wanted to show you guys, and I will break down everything you need to know about how to play her. I'll show you the build that people use, the augments just right here. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory that, but her build is basically she's a attack speed, crit rate, damage ADC, or attack damage carry. You want to play her like near the back of your team and away from other players as much as possible. Here is his game. We'll just show of. I'm gonna put, I guess, full vision on. I will, I guess, keep that there. And yeah, so I'm gonna break down exactly different things you can do with her, how the player plays, explain where you're positioning in team fights, and all that jazz. Basically, this is just the standard looting phase as normal. You want to use your E as your first level up so that you can go over walls mainly and move yourself faster towards looting, even just like that. There, nothing too complex. Just getting some simple farm to get some more credits. We're already at the third zone of the build. Just using some vision to check what's over there. But didn't see anyone, at least at that particular place. Already gonna put a camera down, just that's the camera from the bat. I don't honestly think you really need to do that because the bat gives you vision itself for like a short period of time, unless you think you're gonna be here longer. Now here we have right here, she loses to Dylan early. What you use is the plant to space herself away from Dylan. So it was very well played there. The main thing I'll explain more, it's a little bit more complicated about Katja, is her E is a buffer. So what I mean by that, is you can buffer CC. So I'll show like examples here, or I'll pause the game, whatever, of how it looks, or maybe I'll just like show it overlay. I'm not too sure. Anyways, you'll see what I mean by buffering CC, and that makes her a little bit harder to play, but allows you to get out of situations that other characters cannot get out of. Yeah, and team comps I recommend you with her. I'd either recommend her with like a tank, bruiser, fighter, and ranged, or you can do like a tank double ranged. I wouldn't really recommend her on a 3 range team because then you have to rely on everyone having good spacing, which is fine. Like if you're with like a group of friends and you can trust that all 3 of them will be good at spacing, then just go for it. But in terms of solo queue, I would not recommend 3 like ADC type characters, or 3 like I don't know, 3 characters that are range. So this team comp here is a tank with 2 range characters. Jenny's less range than Katja, of course, but it's still, again, the tank with 2 range, which is perfectly fine comp to be using. So what you want to be doing with Katja is using your E to get vision of where other people are, and your drone can take consoles. I'll zoom out a little bit here as we're chasing this Fiora. She just uses that flower to get away, so they're just gonna stop chasing. You don't want to over chase, of course. That's just the general guideline, not just related to Katja. So you want Katja, you want to be the one ideally taking console because you can use your drone to take it without actually needing to waste your team's time. So right here, when she goes past this thing, just tap the console. The little drone will go and take the console, and you don't waste any time. Very nice. And so yeah, they're gonna be here for meteorite. That's why they're just waiting here. for the first objective. Looks like no one's going to contest them at all, so easy free meteorite. I'm not sure if they're going to give it to Katja first or if it's going to go to Jenny. We'll see. It looks like we're fine just giving it to Jenny. In terms of upgrades, I mean, it's just... Oh, there's a team fight actually here. I will go back as a bit late to join the fight. So yeah, you want to generally be at the back of the fight here and just attacking them from behind. Hit the stasis, but it's easy cleanup. This one not too complicated. I will say one thing: if you see the fight, what you want to generally do is use electric shift. It lets you the space farther back to auto attack enemies. And with how Katja works, you have 5 bullets, but if you hit an opponent with either your Q or your E, which are your spells, it actually resets your bullets. So ideally you want to do like your four, maybe even 5 autos, then Q, and then you'll get all your ammo back. So it's just another thing about Katja to know, because ammo is something you got to keep in mind playing her. I didn't have really much to break down with that fight. They just kind of went in. But in more complicated fights, I will actually show you guys where you should be positioning, why the player played the way they did. That one, it was just Luke kind of went in, 11 hit taunt, and Jenny and Katja just focused the Luke down. It's pretty standard fighting. You see, you use the E to get over the wall there to farm. I guess they're gonna stay here for the battle zone that's gonna come up. We actually ordered a mithril. I'll check what our team has. 11 obviously is going to have nothing. She's the tank. And okay, they did give the meteorite to Katja to make the chest piece for Spectre, and then she ordered a mithril to make mithril. And it looks like we're actually not going to do the archery battle zone. Instead, looks like we're going to go potentially to the, what is it, police station battle zone. We'll see. Oh, I guess not. I mean, and honestly, I would say archery is better because you already have vision of the area, so you know who's there, which in this case is no one. But I guess they just wanted to get more vision, so they got gas station's vision as well as Allie's vision. Oh, a team is gonna walk in. We have a Nikki Hedgen your team. So in this case, what you probably want to do is focus on the Hedgen ideally first, and literally focus Nikki last, because Nikki really only does damage if you attack her. I know it's hard to ignore Nikki, but I'm just saying general recommendations here. Focus Hedgen, then Fiora, then Nikki. That's your ideal plan. Use your E to get vision of the team. I'll zoom out so you can see the fight. Yeah, you're gonna want to poke as Katja. Use your E to space back. This team has lack of time, but yeah, here I'll go back. Oh, and the replay has decided to crash on me. Okay, I am back now. We've got to the time. So what you're gonna do is use your E to see where people are. Use recon drones, cameras, what have you. Nikki's gonna look for an angle into either Katja or Jenny, so 11's should be keeping that in mind anyways. A little bit close here, but you have your E to buffer back if need to. Nikki's now raged up, so she's gonna target someone, cancels the auto attack from 11, but she's already poked down so much that it doesn't matter. You're gonna space back here, but you're the one that actually has full health out of everyone, and they have lack of timer. 11's spacing, she's gonna come in here. Unfortunately, I already died. Yeah, I mean, you have Jenny and Katja autoing. They pretty much, this team died because they got poked in and didn't commit sooner. That's really why the fight one did. I mean, also, if you want to look at items, they did have, I guess they had 2 rares versus 3 rares, and mastery wise, this team is at 12. 10, 11, probably 1 less each level, respectively, after fighting to, where is this team? 10, 10, 7, so they're quite low. The Nikki's very behind in mastery here, so she's actually not doing as much damage as she should be doing. So this was just an easy fight for them. Let's click back on Katja. Actually, there wasn't too much to break down there. And pretty much as the Nikki got poked down way too early, and then as soon as it becomes a 2v3, it should not be an issue. Ideally, your tank kind of peels for you, but if they don't, then with Katja, you use Electric Shift to move backwards and get a little bit more attack range to fight, or you use your E to get away as well. Those are the options. But yeah, you want to be making sure you poke people as much as possible before they actually engage on you, because that's your strong suit. You're a long-ranged auto attack character, so you want to be playing to your strengths ideally, which is again auto attacking people from afar. And if you're facing a Katja, I'll even say counter, ideally you're going to want to go in, unless you're again, it's going to depend on your team comp. Unless your team comp has more poke characters or more long range characters than the Katja team, you're going to want to go in sooner rather than later, because you don't want to go in when you're already half health.
No more chances. Don't let me down.
So they didn't actually go to any objective. They got the battle zone and just were farming, which is fine. Just kind of being in an alley is pretty far from any objectives that spawn during day 3, and the meteorite locations, I guess, just weren't ideal. I actually can't see them on the map in the replay. I don't know why. So yeah, they're just gonna farm temple. Nope, another team is here. And you can see Katja staying as far as possible. Gonna poke. This is standard Vanya tech, the totem to that. So Jenny actually is out of position here, being way too close to the enemy team. So she does get punished for it and dies. It can be hard for Jenny to get away. Obviously, she's not as ranged as Katja. Honestly, if I was Katja here, I'd actually probably just, yeah, I'd just turn down. You don't want to over chase at all. Oh, she's actually gonna keep chasing. Like, I understand there's only one person, but you're away from your team here, and you don't know if you're gonna running into another team. In my opinion, this is very risky to do. She could be running into another team. You don't know, like, who, because you see, we don't have vision of this team, of this area. So I can even show you our vision. This is our vision. Like, oh, actually, we're getting vision now. She's gonna res her team here, and they're just gonna run as fast as possible. Probably not ideal against Katja. I guess sniper skill, Hayes just blocks it, which is well played on her part. At my point, again, in my opinion, this is way overextending the fight. The fight's been long gone, but they are very strong overall compared to the rest of the lobby. You can see 16 mastery Katja. She's 2 mastery above everyone else. Well, 1 mastery. This team's actually quite strong. The Fiora, Shoichi Darko team, but she is quite strong, so it's not the worst thing. As you can see, they didn't get it, which I'm not surprised with. I'll go back to full speed again. We still don't have... Oh, another team is coming. This is the second strongest team in the lobby, so we'll slow it down. But this team, again, you're going to want to go in as soon as possible because you're going to be poked down by Katja. Or don't go in at all. Just leave. That's your second option. Shoichi's going to go for a dagger skill play. Katja's pretty close. Like, you're way in front of her team, but luckily she has her electric shift and E. Great Darko engage here. Katja is way too close to the fight and has gotten a bit punished for it, but luckily she is actually quite strong right now. I'll try backing up. Hopefully it doesn't actually go too in. This is where you're going to need a bit of character knowledge, so... sorry. Right here... Or sorry, I was a little bit... I'm hoping it won't crash on me if I go back. That's my bad. So I'm gonna pause right here. Right here. I mean, dagger skill makes a noise, by the way. I don't know if the Katja could hear it, but you know that Shoichi has dagger skill. Hopefully you do. If you don't, he's a dagger character and has dagger skill. If you don't know, dagger skill does you can read it right here. You become invisible over 2 seconds and you increase your movement speed by 20%, decaying over 2 seconds, and allows you, so it basically allows you to speed up and run towards your enemy without being seen. Shoichi is an assassin character, which means he's going to try to dive for the back line. At this point, you don't know where Shoichi is. I can even show you the vision of our character. So here's our vision. We have no vision. We actually technically can see the circle. According to this, this could just be broken UI. If you can see this immediately as Katja, what you're gonna want to do is actually just back up here right away, like, because you're putting yourself at risk. 11 is, I don't know why she's just cooking right now. Her team is right here. What 11 should be doing is moving up or moving this way. Those are your kind of two options. Jenny probably should be backing up as well. Think of your escapes. So in this case, your escapes are this way, that's just red, behind the school, or really this way, but not really, because you know their team is like about here. So if you go that way, they can come from there, right? They can also come from this way. So best bet is to run to this corridor right here, because that's the farthest away from, you know, where their team is. 11 ideally should be cooking here. You see she has food on the ground already. If the team really needed food, they just go pick it up. Katja, in my opinion, has overstepped her boundaries, and she does get punished for it as a result, because Shoichi's just going to run in directly at her, and she has to use both her E and her tactical skill to get away from Shoichi. So, as you can see, I'll play it slow. I'll play it here. I'll move it back a little bit. So this is even worse for her, because she's now moving, instead of moving, oh, I don't know where Shoichi is, we have no vision here. She's actually walked upwards, which is the worst case scenario, really, because you don't know where the other team is, and you know that there's a dagger character on the other team who can go invisible. There's no cameras down. They haven't placed a single camera. She has 2 cameras in her inventory. Ideally, you actually should be putting a camera right here, and it doesn't matter, somewhere. Literally anywhere here, because then you'd see the Shoichi going invisible from dagger skill. Again, it also makes a noise. It's possible she was out of range of the noise, but if you're going against a dagger character and you are this far away from your tank, you're way out of position. So again, and for some reason she's going like back and forth between here instead of just being, I don't know where the dagger character, assassin dagger character is. I should be moving away and closer to my tank who can peel for me. So I'll show again. So we pause, and there's Shoichi's already in range to use his E, which means he can just jump behind. 11 is still cooking. I don't know why exactly. And so, and she's way far from her team. And I'll show you everyone's vision now. In this case, since the other team misplayed too, if you see your Shoichi running in like this, you should be running in as soon as possible as well to follow up quickly. Because if you kill Katja, like, burst her immediately. If Darko was even just like, if Darko was right here instead, and he like ran, obviously he's not gonna be fast as Shoichi, because and you get movement speed for using dagger skill. So even if you were like up here instead, Fiora should be coming in, because Shoichi's making a play. She's just standing still in the bush here for some reason. Maybe, again, this is solo queue. These people aren't in a pre-made team, so this is definitely a lack of communication. But you should be paying attention to what your team is doing. So there's a misplay on the opponent's team as well, because if they actually played better, this Katja would be dead immediately. She's way out of position, and she should just die for it. Darko should just suppress alter, bring her this way, actually. Probably go here, dash with his W, and then alter this way into the Fiora, and the Shoichi can just combo her with his own ultimate, and she'd be dead, because again, she's basically isolated from her team here. So this is why it's not ideal at all. And the 11 should be paying more attention as well, So I'll go back to the vision of just the Katja. So they don't know where the other people are, but you should know that they are close by. Shoichi jumps. 11 immediately stops here. Shoichi's already jumped. Fiora's coming in here. Shoichi misses Q. This is just a misplay there. 11's gonna taunt, but as I said, if their team was a bit better, Darko would have already moved her away and she'd be dead. So she immediately had to use E here. Burst. 11 channeled. Alt. Or not alt, sorry. Her W, her taunt. No one's in taunt range. Darko actually flashes in. Or blinks in, sorry. And his team is completely away from him. So he goes in when his team is running this way. She's running this way. You can tell based off of the character model. So he's already technically misplaying. Why are you blinking into 3 of them? Why are you blinking to all 3 of them when your team's body movement is clearly showing that they want to leave away? I'm saying they won the fight because they are stronger technically, but I wanted to show you the mistakes that people are making and how you can improve and learn from them. So by blinking in here when your team is clearly running away, their mistake, you're now a 1v3 with an ADC, pretty much 2 ADCs. Jenny's kind of weird mixed. She does spell damage, and she does auto, so I guess she's kind of more of, I don't know, APC, whatever. And then you have a tank. So as a result of this play, actually Darko gets taunted, and I mean, he does his ultimate. Now his team is like, oh wait, Darko has moved forward. I need to move forward as well. The thing is, the issue with this as well is if you look at Shoichi, he hasn't burned alt yet, actually. He didn't burn alt. He already has for full set. He actually hasn't used his ult yet. He did the knock up. Ideally, he should knock Katja into them with his ultimate. We'll see what he does here. Maybe I missed it. So he's actually taunted as a result of going in 3v1 here. So his team's running in, gets taunted, and the Fiora has now E'd in. Oh, sorry, no, Rapier skilled in, my apologies, onto the Jenny. And this team, at this point, they should honestly focus the Jenny. Catch is actually backed up decently. I mean, obviously, it's still pretty close to team, but out of the positioning wise, the other team should be focusing on Jenny at this point. So,
Go say hi to your customers.
gosh. Thing is, Shuichi's now just standing here. He does have blink. He could honestly potentially blink in an R to kill. The issue is he's just walking back and forth doing nothing while the Fiora is being 3-man attacked right now, and she immediately dies as a result of this play. So I'd say there's more of a misplay on the opponent's side than on Katja and their team playing well, because I already said they've already misplayed this fight issue from the beginning. And at this point, he goes in again, which I don't know if he's being the sacrificial lamb, which is a technique that I use. Basically, if you know that you've already lost this fight anyways, you'd rather have one person distract the team so your other member can get out to revive. So he could just be doing that, and I said that is actually a strategy in mind, because you've already lost. So at that point, if he's just going in, oh, he ulted already, so very interesting the time I guess you blink ulted into the team, which is, at this point, it's done. Like, the play is over. As soon as Fiora is dead, you need to blink away. And ideally, I know 11 has taunt, so maybe it would have not been a good idea to ult immediately here, and that's why he held it. But the Shoichi either needed to go in sooner with the blink ult play, or not go in at all. So as a result, he dies here as well. Or sorry, that was Darko. For some reason I thought that was Shoichi. Shoichi just stood still there. So he's just gonna leave. I guess Darko's being the sacrificial lamb. He should just be immediately running away. I don't know why he's like pausing there. And technically, Jenny could have chased him more because Shoichi didn't burn anything. He kind of just watched his team die, really. So I guess, but he's the one who initiated the infight. But that's just a team miscommunication. That's gonna happen in solo queue. But yeah, hopefully that broke it down. Again, in terms of positioning of the Katja here. Oh, let's see, Katja. I already said she already missed position by being way too up here without knowing where the other team is, and the 11's way too far. So she eased back. That's what you're really only gonna have to do. Darko goes in when his team's going back. She's just running. 11 taunted him. She honestly, yeah, she used electric shift to move back even more. And you're just gonna pretty much auto from the back line. And then see, once you have out of bullets, you use your Q and you get your bullets back. That's just because if she used her Q earlier, I mean, you would have you would have actually got your bullets back, whatever it is. But that's the most efficient way, is to use all your bullets and then Q. So it was fine, and they got 2 kills out of it. But I would honestly blame the team's positioning more than
It was an interesting
theirs. But hopefully you got my point across.
You should at least help with this. You can. Glad to see you. Where will you hide?
So at this point, they're gonna order. So yeah, right now they're just ordering stuff. There's a tray on the ground. I'm assuming someone's gonna just pick that up to use. Katja is going to make BF weapon at this point. I'll actually check if this is common. No, if you don't have enough, sorry, I'll move this. If you do not have enough credits to order BF weapon, just order the cheaper version. It's just a meteorite to make, called Andromeda. So yeah, I believe it's just a meteorite. But if you can, of course, make the use the VF1. This game they're actually quite fed, so it makes sense to use the VF1. So yeah, just as a long range character, you want to use the spells that you have. Actually, don't generally start with alt. This particular Katja main doesn't start with alt. I'll actually go back. So this particular Katja player does not use alt to start fight. Normally, it's just the cleanup. It is technically an execution based. Actually, no, it's not an execution. Sorry, it is. It does more damage per shot. So if you hit multiple people, you're gonna do more damage. But you can either use it to start a fight, which is kind of or you can use it to when people are running away to clean them up. So and this person does the latter. I think honestly both ways are kind of fine, but the latter's just probably a bit. I'd say a bit better, just because they're already low to begin with, and they can't just like sacrifice their HP and you just wasted your ult for nothing, and then you get third partied. Alright, so I'll slow down here. So I'll tell you the mistakes that each team made. So they're just chasing this team. So the problem here, if you don't know, is, I mean, you can already tell. Mistake with this team, the orange team, is they're completely separated from each other. So as you can see, Bernice is here, Yuki's all the way over here, and Lenny's here. So, and you can tell the way that Yuki's pathing based off the way his body's going. He's walking this way. Lenny's facing the way, so she's walking this way. But Bernice is actually walking back into, which is not ideal. Again, the team's not on the same page. It is a solo queue. None of the people in this game were like a team. So, it's again a miscommunication. Bernice, if these people are running away, Bernice should just run away as well. It is only night 3, so you can revive your teammates. And this team is currently the strongest in the lobby. If you can want to check the confirm, you can see. I'll delete that. You can see 18 mastery on the Katja, 16, 15. Katja has a VF weapon for 2 gold. The tank's always gonna have the least amount of gold items, so it's not really best to judge that. It's more the other characters on the team. You can see this team member is 14, 15, 16 mastery, very low. So it's just best for them to run away at this point. The only team that could contest them is this actually Nikki Fiora hedging team from earlier. That's the closest mastery wise. Everyone else is not even close mastery, or they've been eliminated already. So maybe this team, but they're lacking a bit colds, and again a couple levels lower than Katja is. So yeah, for this team, the best play would definitely be, again, just seeing what your teams are doing, the way that their body's facing. It just tells you which way that they're, like, how they're thinking. So this, people are thinking, run away this way, run away this way. Bernice should not be running this way. He should just fall back either this way, or honestly, you could do this way as well. This way's probably a bit better because the team's here, so they could technically go over the wall here. 11 has a jump ability over the wall, so does Katja. I don't Katja probably doesn't want to eat into Bernice because Bernice is a close range DPS, while Katja is more of a long range DPS. But she is a lot more built than Bernice is at this point. I just mean in general, you probably don't want to eat into a Bernice if you're playing Katja. At this point of the game, you could argue it's fine because there she's fed, but just a general tip. So yeah, I'll play the rest of this out. So Yuki gets hit with a, I think he got slowed. So there, he's gonna try parry. Is he? At this point, Yuki's separated. Bernice already walked back a little bit because he's like, I don't want to take this fight. But he's like, oh, I'm gonna try to save Yuki. He throws his R out. I mean, Yuki's already dead. Like, if this, using the R here was kind of not gonna do anything. He's definitely dead. There's nothing you can do to save him. Ideally, Bernice should just run away. And Lenny should just run away through red. Fortunately, because, and especially if you're gonna take the fight here, like, Katja is behind her tank, which is where your position. I know this is a Katja guide, but I'm also just giving general team advice for this VOD review. Katja is honestly fine where she is. She's right behind the tank. Lenny doesn't really do damage. She's a support, so you're honestly fine with Lenny being here and not to be concerned about. You could technically be spaced a little bit backward, a little bit, yeah, more backwards, but it's fine. The thing is, this Katja only actually levels their skill to level 1, which means this only lasts 4 seconds, and the range is a bit shorter. I believe the range is shorter at level 1. You only get 1.5. Yeah, you get 2. Oh, sorry. The range is not, the travel distance, yeah, is a bit shorter. But the attack range is still the same. It's still fixed. You just don't move back as much with it. And it only, it lasts 5 seconds at level 1. Which honestly is still pretty long. Yeah, you might just want to use this. If you're only going to keep it at level 1, you're just going to use this at the end of the fight unless you are out of position and need to get away from the opponents. So in this case, yeah, that's why she's not using it here. It's a really short duration. At this point, you probably could, but maybe they just wants to save it to chase Bernice after. Because at this point, Bernice really should just leave. Because the Lenny is all the way over here. She's away from her team. So basically, think of it as like, this is like basically the fight. Even Jenny's kind of out of it. It's more like a 2v2. But Jenny's a lot closer. She'll be able to get into attacking range in like a second. Because right now, her auto range is probably like about here. Okay, the circles, I can't make straight circles, you know, about like this. And, which means, like, look, she can't even hit Yuki, so she has to walk forward. It's going to take her a second. Letting to even help her support her team is going to take her several seconds to walk all the way to here to help support her team. Or even what she should honestly do is use the ult on Jenny right here and R her towards her, or maybe not even towards her is better. Like, probably like this way if she can go over the rock. I don't know the exact range. She might actually hit the rock and just bounce in, or R her this way. Farther away. That'd probably be the best bet. Stall for her team for the 2v2 instead of letting Jenny make it a 3v2. That's really all you can do as Lenny. Otherwise, just run away. Because you have pistol skill. you have ult yourself. You could technically just ult yourself away from the fight. You could just ult here and just go this way and then pistol skill, and then you'd be out of the fight. So I'm just saying for this orange team, the Bernice really should have just left because the Yuki's already half health. There's not much you can do. In your team, your Lenny's just way out of position for you to actually follow up with anything. But you can see Yuki's dead. And Jenny's just gonna fight Lenny. Lenny just knocks her away, but they'll chase. Katja eat over the wall here. So at this point, she doesn't have any vision of Bernice, so she honestly it's the safer play. You don't want to overextend any chases. And just take your 2 kills. Bernice can still revive. It is day 4. But you, again, don't want to overextend. You don't have any vision of this area other than forest, which, you know, no one's there because the zone's about to close. And it's surrounded by red at this point in the game. So other than Uptown. So you did see Bernice is back in forest. If they're paying attention to their mini-map, like you would be able to see. So Jenny is actually going to head back because Bernice is going to go res at this console over here in school. And they see there's a new vision ward here, so this should be a red flag for Katja immediately. Oh, there is another team here because this ward is just recently placed. The white line underneath it is almost full, so it was placed like 3 to 5 seconds ago. So she's way out of position compared to her team, and she should definitely, she's doing the right thing. I'm just telling you, this is a good thing. Head back towards your tank, your team in general, because otherwise she could be ambushed right here, because you don't know where any of the opponents are. But you know there's someone there, and you don't want to risk dying at this point in the game. So this is a great call by Katja. Oh, I was just appraising a great call, but she decided she doesn't care. She's completely separated from team. So if this team was smart and had vision here, and because they have vision, right? I mean, just no, they got vision of the school. Actually, I don't know why it shows that the console is red. It should be green because it's your vision. But if this team had vision before and they have vision here, honestly, they probably should. Yeah, they should immediately go here because this Katja's way out of position. Her entire team's in forest. You can see she's in here. Here's here, and then there's a 3v1. Katja does not have a great escape, so I'm gonna say this is a complete misplay by this Katja. We'll see how she gets punished, because she's definitely getting punished by this team right now. They're scared because they don't know the Katja's team's nearby. But now that they know, Dylan's gonna try to catch up. Bernice died to restricted area. Katja's running to her team. I need help team. I'm being chased by 3 teams, so they're running back immediately to her. They were a little bit scared at first, but at this point now, 11 is way out of... Sorry, Emma. So they were weary. The other team was weary because they didn't know where Katja's team was. That's why back here, the Emma you can see is like, I don't know why he's... Sorry, it's just the glitch with the replay. This is Darko. So they're a bit weary, be like, oh, I don't know where the team is. That's a good call. You don't want to risk just being set up to an ambush. But once they realize Katja's alone here, they do chase her. But at this point, honestly, once she gets to about here, and you're still not on her, then you've overextended. Because you're going to assume that she's running towards her team. Like, if you see someone alone like that, and you're going to assume, oh, she's running towards his team. It's possible that I think, oh, this is a solo, but based on the mastery, and I believe it actually would show in here, be like, oh no, the team's alive and not fully eliminated. So then this is just a bad play, because right now what happens is she comes to her team, and they didn't use a recon drone. This this Emma does not have a recon drone. What she should do is put a camera in the bush. She's way out of position, or she's overextended herself compared to her team, because Emma should be the one in the back, or like as far away from the team as possible, while the melees are obviously in forward. This Katja is running towards her team. Emma has no vision of what's behind this bush, We can even show you what the vision of this 11 player is. She sees nothing. So she's walking up. She knows she polymorphed at the Katja, but she has no idea what's behind here. She has no vision of this area. She ideally should put a ward in here in this bush immediately. And honestly, she should back up at this point. Like, they've already chased for about what, 30 seconds at this point, maybe 20 seconds. You know that she's going to be running towards her team at that point, and you're way behind your team. And as a result of doing this play, she's once again punished. Surprise! You now see a 11 channeling her taunt, and she has to totem as a result of this play because she overextended. So she wasted totem use here, and Darko actually flashed in, is trying to beeline towards Katja. At this point, Jenny, obviously, if you look at the positioning of the teams, Dylan's super far back. She needs to either blink in and then R Jenny. Honestly, that's probably the best thing you can do in this situation. Just so you can suppress and allow your Darko to actually kill the Katja and a 1v1 as best as possible. 11. I'm trying to think, where is the 11? It's hard to see where particularly paused. Let's see, maybe I paused 1 second. Oh, sorry, I have the vision of the Emma, so she's in the bush, so they still haven't put a camera in this bush, by the way, which you should be doing immediately. Like, she has cameras. You have cameras. Darko has cameras. It's mainly the 11 should have put a camera in the bush immediately. But what happened is, this team, Emma, again, her body motion is, I'm running away. I don't know why the thickness changed there, I'm sorry. I'm running away. And Dylan's like, I'm going in. I don't know why. Yeah, the Darko is already committed in. And he's currently in a 3v1. Which, again, just not ideal. So he's just going to be focused down immediately. He's way out of position compared to his team. And is going to be punished for this play. And because 11 can just... You can see 11, even though she just used taunt, it's up in like 4 seconds. She can honestly just E, maybe like knock him back and channel it. Jenny has W if she, which I don't know which form she is, just it's kind of weird, awkward angle to see. But she could, even it doesn't matter what form, she could just W, put a carpet underneath them and either pull them towards. Ideally, it'd be towards because you want towards the 11. You could push away, which is the less ideal option because then you're pushing them closer to the Katja, which is not ideal. He's going airborne because that's what Darko does. So they're completely being focused. He's being 3v1 right now. He's way overextended by flashing in because the Dylan did not blink and R in immediately with that play. If she thought this is a bad play, she should honestly run away probably immediately or communicate. Like, since it's solos, you can't really communicate your team, hey, I don't want you to go in, because as soon as Darko blinked in, you have to play that aggressively or back off and just let him die because he's in a 3v1. You can't win. So I know this is a Katja guy, but this is also just I'm giving general advice as well for how to play the game. So because at this point the Katja's very fed. I've explained the mistakes this Katja has made because she hasn't played the game perfectly, but she's played well enough that obviously she's survived, and the 11 has peeled for her. This Emma is just, I'm assuming, being the sacrificial lamb, as in she's gonna die so that the Dylan can get out, which again, that is a strategy to do. It does cost you 500 credits instead of 250, but regardless, it still is a strategy. So there you go. I will change visions back there. So that's... The Katja honestly got lucky that they didn't commit sooner to her getting the meteorite, and so that I would say that's just... She got lucky. That's really it. Is that the team actually just fully committed immediately and like blinked... If Dylan blinked Art in immediately there, after like Emma like did like a polymorph, the Katja would have been dead. And they could have just rested her no problem. But it still would have been a punishing play, of course. this point, Wickeline has spawned, so Wickeline's completely in red, so this is honestly the closest zone that she'll be in. I don't know why she's walking towards archery or gas stations. The AI is just kind of weird. So yeah, this is honestly the best place to be waiting for Wickeline to come down. Just farm the area. There's some bears up. There's some dogs up. Just get your mastery up more. If you aren't 20 mastery or level 20, you just keep farming. See, and you also got rare material. There's a meteorite, which Katja doesn't want. You could actually use meteorite, I believe, to make the upgraded version of the cowboy hat. So she could have used it, but I'm assuming she wants a crit. She could probably use a... Yeah, I'd say like a crit piece. Because currently she had like 66%. But yeah, okay, the team fight again. They fully res their team. Jenny's way out of position. She's trying to flank here, so what you wanted at this point, what you want to do is just stall. You don't actually, hopefully they don't commit in, because then at that point you'd be in a 2v3. Katja's in front of 11, which is not, again, ideal, because Darko could just use his R to pull her back towards his team. But technically, I think there's only 2 of them here, so it's more of a 2v3 actually. Where's the Dylan? Oh, Dylan, sorry, I have the vision set not for all. There we go. Dylan is actually going down this way, and they're running this way. So it looks like they're actually trying to just run away, which is fine. They are the strongest team in the lobby. Actually, no, they are not the strongest. No, they are tied for the strongest team. This Hydrogen team is actually of equal strength to this team, so they're the weakest team in the lobby, so they honestly just try to run away and go for a third-party angle. That's probably the best play. Fortunately, Jenny is now just going after... Oh, actually, that's a good play. Jenny should not go after Dylan, because she'd be separated from her team again, and this team will just circle back and then cut her off and then come to 3v1. So you want to stick to your team as much as possible in the late game, so... Yeah, you can see Katja, and the Wickeline is going to come down soon, so that's what they're waiting for. It's not worth chasing as well, because again, you're waiting for the main objective of the game, which is, well, the main objective is obviously the win, but Wickeline is the biggest objective in the game. You get a buff as well as a BF blood sample, which gives you access to very powerful items. 11 actually reacted to this play very well. She saw... I'll slow it down. She actually reacted to this play very well, this 11. So it does help, obviously, having good teammates, as this is a team game at this point. So I'll slow down here. So they're trying to stop them from taking Wickeline. I'll show you the 11's vision, because I have full vision right now. So the 11 is... Leave this. So the 11, look, they have 2 cameras down. Great thing. If you're taking an objective, put as many cameras around you as possible, so you have as much vision of your surroundings as possible. So the 11 knows, oh, Dylan is here. She does not see the other teammates. You're playing a tank, so what she does, and especially since you're not doing the most damage to the objective on the team, obviously you're tanking a bit damage, but to take 1 or 2 autos from the Wickeline over you securing a kill is like definitely worth it. So what 11 does here is she channels the E, jumps onto 11, or sorry, jumps into lead Dylan, hits her, immediately taunts. Does not do the full channel, short channel, so the taunt isn't as long. But this allows Katja, who sees the situation, obviously, is paying attention to her 11, and is just autoing her. So when she hits the last bullet, here she's going to immediately Q, because she has her Q up, because that's how you reload your bullets for... Well, you can reload the slow way, which is not ideal. So here you go, she Qs, gets her full bullets back, even though she did miss. Dylan ended up using Blink to get away from 11, which is fair. At this point, the fight is not worth fighting, because Dylan's at half health. And the other... Okay, for the red team, it's not worth fighting the Katja's team, because Dylan's at half health, and the other team has Wickeline buff, and you're going to be taking more damage than... You should. Plus, they're also the weakest team in the lobby, so this is where they just want to run away, if possible. At this point, the 11 has... Yeah, her spells are on cooldown. She just used them to get this engage onto Dylan. So, they might not be able to actually catch them. And yeah, they just decide to not chase. They have the VF item from Wickeline, just might as well let Jenny craft the upgrade of Altair High Noon instead and just get more damage. Has armor pen, cooldown reduction, scaling up attack speed, and attack power. It's just far superior to Altair. Such as, again, you want your damage people to do the most damage. The 11 obviously is not going to use the VF, even though she could do the VF blood weapon here or a VF blood arm piece, but you don't care about your 11's damage. You want to have your damage carries have the items. So at this point, I'll speed it back up again. At this point, this team, what they should be doing is looking for the last two teams in the game. They have this buff. They're very strong. So unfortunately, 11 missed her taunt. Jenny did get punished for going into an 11 that closely. And they're actually going to try to turn it here. Go back and slow it down a bit. So Jenny goes in here, gets punished quite a bit by Emma, actually, for going that aggressive away from her tank. And they're running. She actually uses E to chase, which I don't know if that actually is a good idea, because at this point, you're actually now in front of your tank. You don't know where the enemy team is, and you know they have a Darko who has multiple CCs in his kit, and you're ahead of your tank. So we'll see. As you can see, they use a recon drone, which is great, but at this point, it's too late. Katja's already committed E. She's already committed Electric Shift, so she's gonna get punished by Darko, who just turns it here. Unfortunately, his team was not on the same page as him. If they were on the same page, I think they actually might have had a chance to turn it, but because the Darko's team was not following what Darko was doing, he's now just separated from his team. He's in a 3v1. His team is not even close to him at all. When I say not even close, think of the attack range of the character or their spell range. So Emma's spell range, maybe like about that. Maybe like I don't know, maybe like a bit here. But you can see not in spell range at all. It's going to take her a step to get forward. It's about a second to do anything. Dylan is even farther away. I'll show you all vision. Oh, Dylan's actually just slightly behind, but since Dylan is a melee character, she's going to have to commit even more. Again, she hasn't used R. She already committed Q to run away. So for her to commit, she has Blink still if she really wants to go in. But at this point, this is just the team miscommunication. The Darko had a different idea than the Emma and Dylan, who are just thinking of running away, which is, I think, fine if you're on the same page. But you gotta, like, you just gotta watch what your team is doing. If you see the Darko sitting around the corner here, if you're this team, then you should know, oh, look, he's trying for a play, because if he was not thinking of a play, he would be running with you, right? That's just your thought process. You gotta just be in attention to where your team is, because I do agree that Katja misplayed there by Eing and using Electric Shift in and being ahead of her tank. She's now out of position. She's still close enough that 11 can still hit with the taunt, and 11 does have it up at this point, but it still could have been a very crucial play if Darko's team was on the same page as if Dylan and Emma were on the same page as Darko, but they aren't, so Darko just immediately dies here. Or almost immediately dies. They do manage to burst the Katja. He did do WR, which is what I would do if I was Darko here. And she actually goes down. Katja goes down from that misplay. So it is now a 2v2. I actually misspoke. And actually the Jenny is at half health. And the 11 has already committed taunt and her E is down for 10 seconds. Jenny has already committed ult. She still has her passive. And I mean, she still has her E. Emma's ult's up. She just used polymorph. She might actually polymorph R in. Jenny's not like close enough that might not be warranted here. If Jenny was definitely closer, you definitely do ER in the situation. So at this situation, it's a 2v2. Emma is full health. 11's full health. I know Jenny's at half health, and Dylan has not used R. So this is honestly looking really good for the red team, because if Dylan R's Jenny here, because 11 has no way of actually stopping Dylan at this point, and the Emma's about to get her hat up. They could probably just burst Jenny. Actually, Darko dies now. Dylan should honestly turn right here. As you can already tell by the body movements of this 11. 11 is going towards Emma. Emma's going this way. Jenny's actually chasing her, so these two are not on the same page. They're not going after the same target, which they should do. So, just based off, again, the way that the character's facing, that's you tell that's the input that the player's doing. This person, the Dylan, in my opinion, is baiting here. This is what I would do as Dylan, and instead of running away, because all she needs to do is hit R. She doesn't have Q up, so she's probably stalling for a little bit more time for her glove skill. And Q to come back up. Probably what you want to do is see if she, as soon as Jenny commits E, if she E's in towards Dylan, Jenny is dead. So this is a very crucial play to see what happens. Immediately E'd, she's going to drink, she's going to turn it, because 11 is way too far from Jenny, and Dylan can actually turn this fight, no problem. And she does exactly what I said. That's exactly what I do. She already E'd, she can't get out, she R'd. She's glove skilled. Unfortunately, the Emma was not on the same page, because if Emma was on the same page and she W'd Arden, because 11 doesn't have taunt, she didn't have taunt until just right then, they would have actually killed Dylan, and Jenny, sorry, they would have killed Jenny, and Dylan and Emma would have both been alive. So this is, again, miscommunication from this team, but see how Katja's mispositioning has caused this big error? Imagine if this team was actually in the same zone. They would actually have lost this game completely. So just keep that in mind. So Emma's gonna try to turn it here. She's probably gonna WR into Jenny. Actually, she didn't RN at all. I know it'd be maybe not ideal, but you get away from 11 at least, and then you'd be easier to land a Q if you were the Emma, if you're on top. And I don't actually need to check, is this Emma Arcane or Shuriken? Arcana. So yeah, so what she should have done, she had R up. She should have honestly W'd R'd in, hit Arcana skill, and hit Q, and this Jenny would have died. It would have been passive, unfortunately. But then it's a 1v1. It is day 5, you can't res your team, so you gotta, like... Unfortunately, at that point, you've already probably lost the fight at this point, because the Emma didn't pay attention to what the Dylan's plan was. I read it. I thought it was pretty obvious. This Dylan, in my opinion, played as well as she could here. She should have probably been paying more attention when Darko was over here waiting for the corners, because the Katja E'd forward and already used Electric Shift as well. I think she Electric Shift E'd, and so Darko's play was quite good, but unfortunately his team was here too far, and Darko died for it, but he luckily got the 1v1 exchange. Jenny was half health from Jenny overstepping her boundaries earlier and letting Emma to burst her. So I think this red team could have honestly won here if they played a little bit better, and the team, Katja's team, could have honestly died here as a result. I think they actually made several mistakes, but the opponent team did not capitalize fully on them. So they're just going to pick up Katja. Honestly, again, they got lucky. Do not overextend. At any point, if you're playing Katja, do not overextend yourself away from your tank, away from your peeling mechanic, when you do not have vision of where the opponents are, especially of an opponent that has either high burst, like an assassin, Daniel, Shoichi, Kathy, or has high CC, like Darko, who can make you go airborne, you can't do anything, and then he suppresses you with his ultimate, and he can move you towards his team. So that's the lesson hopefully you can take away from this. I think things could have also been differently if the other team was like had a little bit more items, because this team was the weakest team alive. Like if Dylan had 1 or 2 more pieces, same with Emma or Darko, they probably actually could have, things could have been differently. But of course the game is not just all about one moment, it is about the process. It goes from point A to point B, and that's what happened. So at this point, Jenny does have her passive up. Everyone has all their spells up. They know they're here, they're getting vision, they know they just grabbed consoles, so they're just gonna wait. Now they know the other team is nearby. Katja, yeah, she's gonna use E, which is ideal. Katja shouldn't be that overextended from her tank. She should honestly let her tank walk in front, and if her tank doesn't, just either ping them to do so or just fall back. Just follow what your tank does. Don't overextend yourself. 11's crafting here. You can do a bit of poking, but keep in mind you have a Nikki here who can just press R on you immediately. The only thing with this fight here is that Fiora is way out of position, unfortunately. Fiora is going for a flank angle, but the Nikki goes in when the Fiora is not even close. I'll show you in slow-mo again and break down what's going on here. So, this team, 11 wants to craft something. Oh, it looks like she ordered VF blood for herself. She is, I don't know, maybe she doesn't want to change her weapon. Maybe go for shoes, it looks like, potentially here. So 11's crafting. This is fine poking. The other team, if you see your team is, oh, I'm gonna go for a flank angle, which is gonna go around here. You do not want to go in. Okay? Right here, as soon as Nikki goes in, she needs to actually back off. She's channeling E, she's going this way. Hedgen's already running away from the fight based off her body language. Fiora is way far ahead. It's gonna take her several seconds to get over. This is a, what is this? Is this Rapier Fiora? No, this is a 2H Fiora. Sorry, the noise is channeled because I paused it an awkward time. So this, it's not even like she can Rapier skill over the wall to get here. All she can do is blink in to make up for the mistake that the Nikki does. Because this Hedgen's said, I'm already out of the fight. The way that she's playing here, she's like, I'm out. So you're already in a 1v3 situation. And as a result, she's just gonna die from this. This Nikki. Because unless Fiora blinks in, Hedgen's gonna take a few seconds to get an auto attack range. Think that's what you think of, or spell range really. So how far can our Q go? Probably about to like here actually. Maybe I'd circle bigger like that. So yeah, her Q range probably like there, right? So how long is it gonna take her to get her bubble to Q range? Probably 2 to 3 seconds. So by Nikki going in here, she's just basically saying, I don't want to. I want to lose. Because this team, honestly, I think they could win, but you're not playing for what their team is doing. So I'll unpause it now. Nikki goes in. Hedgen's like, oh, I gotta go in, but she's already 2 to 3 seconds behind. She's not gonna get in fast enough. She could technically blink E, or she could blink R or E, and then R. But she's already in. This Nikki's dead because the Fiora, as I told you, it's gonna take them a few seconds to get in. She does have barrier, so she does last a bit longer. Hedgen has hit her ultimate. Fiora is now in the fight, but here's where a misplace happened. She did not think of the Charmed, actually. This is a good ult by Jenny, by the way. Jenny's ult charms anyone that's in it, so this is actually a great ult by Jenny. I don't know if it was purposeful, if she actually had vision of the Hedgen here. I can't really go back. I mean, I can go back, but I don't want to risk it at this point. So this is coincidentally a good timing. I do think the Nikki made a slight misplay and should have waited. I know she felt like her hand was pressed because the Jenny was right in her face. And so the Jenny kind of overstepped there for sure. She wanted to punish that, but her team wasn't in the way or wasn't close by. So she got severely punished for her actions. At this point, the Charm is making everyone move towards Jenny. A great ultimate by Jenny here. This Katja is completely out of position because, I mean, Hedgen doesn't want to be this close, ideally. Katja will win the auto attack range, but she's now separated from her team. Think of like this. It's like this. These are the fights right now, basically. I know you can say like, oh, it's like the whole fight. Just think of it as like there's a imaginary line here, and these are 2 fights. So there's a 2v1 on the Nikki. It's the tank and Jenny versus Nikki, and it's gonna be Fiora Hedgen versus Katja. Katja still has E and electric shift, so she does have some ways to get in. This is luckily not Rapier Fiora, and she's already committed E to get closer because of Nikki's, I call it misplay, because she went in when Fiora wasn't close. So she had to commit E to get closer. She does have blink, so she could technically chase in. She still charms at this moment. So this Katja is extremely out of position, and this, I mean, it is possible that they do lose as a result of this positioning. We'll see what happens here. They're charmed again. This charm is a great charm by Jenny. They see this. Hedgen immediately turns towards Katja. Unfortunately, Fiora, what Fiora should be doing here, because she's worrying about Jenny at this situation, but which is honestly a fair point. You have, at this point, now the fight has changed. It was like a 2v1, but because of the charm, it's now more like this is the fight and this is the fight. You may think, oh, Hedgen technically is part of this fight too, which she is, but her body, again, look at the way it's facing, is like, it's basically they're doing 1v1. This Fiora is facing inward. This is a 2v2. Hedgen loses this fight against Katja. It's just, she doesn't have enough damage. She's already used, she has her ultimate up. She might be able to get a position feared. I check what the Hedgen has here. She's already used E. I mean, she has already used bow skill as well. So you could do one ultimate charm. Looks like she got hit with one, I believe. And then Q, and then hit the second charm, and then W. So she'll take a lot of damage from this Hedgen. But if the Fiora was also on the same mindset and be like, oh, we go after Katja here, the Katja would be dead. And Jenny's at half health. I mean, Jenny's at more like 25% health. She has a technically revive, so she's more like half health. Nikki's at 20% HP. Their tank's full health. Hedgen's half health, but it is more, at least now technically a 3v2. If ideally what happens, Nikki actually trades evenly with Jenny. So Jenny dies or dies passive procs. Nikki dies, and it's now more of a 2v. It'll be a 2v2. Unfortunately, Hedgen is a burst champion and is going to reliant on her Q. She should have, or her ultimate should have at least 2 shaman lines up. Looks like she'll actually hit the Jenny with this one here, maybe even this one too. The one here I think already hit, so the other one actually I think hit, might have actually already hit. Looks like there's missing one of the, what are they called? Thinking of like, I don't know why I can't think of the word. One of the augments. I was thinking like chakras. I was like, it's not that the word. So yeah, so I'll pause it and we'll see what happens here. She does hit the combo, and unfortunately, again, not enough damage. She's not with how things are. Jenny did die as a result. The Fiora, I think, misplayed because she's attacking. They, I guess, helped attack the Jenny, but she really needed to focus the Katja because now Hedgen's pretty much out of the fight at this point. A nice fear into W knockback. Fiora blinks forward this way. Hedgen, unfortunately, is actually positioning her body back this way when her team is going this way, both her teammates. And Katja's back here. You do not win against Katja. Think about it. Will 1Q kill Katja here? This is what Hedgen has to think, because she will die before she can do anything else. If the answer is yes, then okay, then it's fine, because then you're gonna go for 1 The answer is no, then she should honestly just back up from her team. And at this point, can 1Q do 729 damage? No, it cannot. So this Hedgen really should be, I need to leave. I cannot kill Katja at this health bar. See, she still lived. She's not in range of the shaman range, or the omen range is not far. Katja's still in range of the auto attack range of Hedgen, so she's just gonna auto Hedgen once. Hedgen's gonna go down here, and as soon as she goes down, the omens expire. So as I said, you have to think about your damage threshold. Will I do enough damage to kill? If the answer is yes, that was a great play by Hedgen. Answer is no, then it's not. You have Nikki running away. She's at 600 health. Katja's at 200 health. I believe if Fiora honestly went after Katja there, this fight actually would have been their favored. The Nikki's team, Nikki Fiora team favored. Not because he didn't. She will focus the Jenny as well. This Nikki's actually gonna go back in. 11's full health. 11's committed. Pretty much everything. She's used her ult on right now. It just hasn't shown, but you can see the ult is around her. Jenny has just got stunned by the Fiora. Fiora hasn't even used parry yet. A good parry could be quite nice here. They're going to try to finish off Hedgen. What really you should be doing at this point, if you're Katja, in my opinion, for this fight, you see your tank's at full health. You see Jenny is already burned passive, but she's at half health. You're already out of the fight, okay? At this point, the the fight's here. You are here. You're out of the fight. What I would do is honestly just probably I'd probably walk out of the vision and rest right here and get a little bit more HP. You're at 200 health. Literally, one Q from Fiora will kill you. Any spell from any of the characters will kill you at this point. So what I would do is, you're out of the fight, just go back and rest. Your tank is fine. She's at complete full health. Jenny's at half health, and the other two people are like half and a quarter health. So that's what I would do in this position. You technically could be like, oh, she's far enough back that it's fine, which is true. That's also true. But you do have to think of, okay, well, I know Fiora has a movement spell. How far can this Fiora get? And how far will her Q reach? It is actually, I do believe, possible if this Fiora E'd and then Q'd, it'd actually reach Katja from this range. I could be a bit off, but I believe it is actually in EQ range. So you have to think about that as well when you play. Ideally, I mean, this is a lot of information to take in, but even if you don't take all of it, and then I've hopefully explained enough of it. Here, Fiora E's in. Jenny has to blink out, or blink at this point. She also has her E up, so she can just E backwards. Fiora has nothing. She can't get in. What she honestly, probably, the only thing you can really do is parry at this point. Or, yeah, parry this. That's good. It's the CC. Because you want to go back towards your Nikki at this point. And unfortunately, Nikki's used Q to go in already, but she's like way too far from the back line to do anything. 11 is also just being a disruptor. She has her taunt up in 2 seconds. They get Fiora down. Again, always focus Nikki last in any team fight. This is a good play by them to focus the Fiora. They know that Fiora just used parry. She has nothing else in her kit to do. You know that Nikki could have guard up. You may, even if you aren't paying attention to Nikki, and you're like, I don't know if she's used guard or not already. Always just think, oh, I have another target or Nikki. Just hit the other target always. Just because at this point, this is just completely easy. So again, you're just gonna use your autos as much, and once you've used all your autos, you're gonna. Sorry, I'm trying to hit Katja here. You're gonna use your Q. Or you can even just probably CQ, get it up. And what honestly, all she has to do is hit R here. At this point, she just has to hit R and you win. I don't know why she's doing Eving. It's possibly like, oh, she's just going to parry it. But if she parries it, then you have 11 who can just taunt you. So what I would do at this point, I don't even think she needed to buffer or use her E to go backwards. All she have to do is hit R. Even if Nikki parries your R, you have 11 there for the taunt, and then you could have just finished her off with an auto. It doesn't matter anyways, regardless. I just think they've extended this by like 5 seconds more than they needed to. Or even longer, because they allowed... See, I mean, Nikki's played great there. They could have just killed her earlier. I don't know why the Katja never used R that whole fight. She had it up. I don't know. I don't even really see Katja use R at all, to be honest. But that would be a situation where you use R. The team's running away, they're low HP. Just hit R, you know it's Nikki, could parry, but then you have 11 right with you. She'll just taunt. She'll wait, hopefully wait until Nikki's parry expires and you immediately taunt after the parry, and then you have Katja just auto. So yeah, that is a game about how to play Katja. I've not done these like in-depth explanation of positioning and abilities and when to do what. I'm hopefully you found this video. This is actually in slow-mo because I was in slow-mo before. That's kind of funny. Yeah, hopefully you found this helpful. And if you enjoyed the video, consider giving me a like. I will break down other characters on how to play, how to position, what abilities you should be using, stuff like that. And I hope to see you at a different video.